Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a city building game. We're going to be talking about Suburbia, and in this game you'll be laying tiles in front of you that will give you income, they'll give you a bit of reputation, and they'll increase your population. That will give you points that will allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Suburbia is still worth playing. When was it released? I should check this shit before I even do this stuff, right? Was it released? It doesn't say. I'm going to say a long time ago. So remember, if you're new, please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. And then we'll see you after this. Bollocks! So, Suburbia, how'd you play this game? So Suburbia is a tile laying city building game. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a player board in front of you, and you'll notice that you've got an income track and you've got a reputation track. You put your little cylinder on the income track and you put your little marker on the reputation track on the required numbers at the beginning of the game, right? You'll also give yourself a heavy factory tile, a community park tile and a suburb tile, and you place them on your little player board that's comprised of little hexes, right? You'll make 3 stacks of tiles. You see on the back of them they are lettered A, B and C, and depending on how many players are playing the game, you'll put a certain amount of tiles in a stack. You'll also look for the one more round tile. You'll place that towards the bottom of stack C. Each player will get $15 million in coins, and then you populate the real estate market with 7 tiles from the A stack. If you look at the real estate market board, you'll see that the further to the left they are, the more expensive the tiles become to purchase, and the further left you go, the cheaper they are. The last 2 are going to cost you diddly squat. Everyone will place their population marker on space number 2 of the population board, and you'll also take 3 investment markers, which are the little hexagonal tiles with the ×2 number on it. So when your turn comes around in this game, you will get 2 options. You'll be able to take and place a tile, or you'll get the option of placing an investment marker on a tile that you've already played. If you take and place a tile, what you do, you'll select a tile either from the real estate market, or you'll take one of the heavy industry, community, park or suburb tiles that are always available but finite in nature, right? And you'll pay the relevant cost, which is comprised of the money that is displayed on the tile itself, and also the money that is displayed in relation to the position it is on the real estate market, right? If you're taking one of the community parks or the suburbs or the heavy industry, you'll just pay the amount of money that's on the tile, right? If none of those options are viable for you, or you just fancy going for a swim or something, then you can also turn a tile into a lake. What you'll do, you'll select a tile from anywhere on the real estate market and you'll flip it over, and then you'll place it into your city. So all these tiles have different effects. You'll see that on the top right of the tile you'll get a bonus, and this could be maybe extra income, in which case you'll move your income cylinder up that many spaces. It might affect your reputation, in which case you will move your reputation up or down, right? If you place a lake tile, then every single tile that's adjacent to a lake will give you $2. You'll take that from the supply and put it in front of you. So there's 4 different types of tiles. The yellow tiles are industry tiles, you've got the residential green tiles, you've got the commercial blue tiles, and you've got the civic grey tiles, right? So some of the industry tiles you might have the slaughterhouse, in which case you'll lose -2 reputation when the tile is placed, and you'll get +1 income for every fancy restaurant and fast food restaurant in play in any borough. That includes other players' boroughs, right? Or you might have the freeway, in which case you'll get -1 for each adjacent residential area, and you'll get +1 income for each adjacent commercial district. So in general, the industry tiles generally don't get placed next to residential areas because nobody wants to live next to a rubbish dump, do they? So some of the commercial tiles that you might have the convenience store, and this simply gives you +1 income when it's placed. You might have the business supply store, in which case you'll get +1 income, and then +1 for every office tile that you have in your city. Some of the civic tiles that you might come across, you might have the mint, in which case you'll get +3 income and +$2 for each of your civic tiles. Or you might have the power station, in which case you'll get +1 income for each of your industry tiles. So all of these tiles are sort of very varied. As you're working your way through stack A, B and C, they get more expensive they get more powerful, and they also get more deadly if you're placing them in the wrong place. So one thing that we haven't talked about yet is the bonus tiles, what you do at the beginning of the game, which I forgot to mention, stupid twat. At the beginning of the game, you'll get 2 gold tiles. You'll choose one, discard the other one. You also place a number of gold tiles, depending on how many people are playing the game, on the real estate board, right? And these will generally give you basically points at the end of the game if you fulfill the requirements on the gold tile. So you might have the air traffic controller, in which case you'll get plus 10 population if you've got the most airports. Or you might have the aquaphobian, in which case you'll get plus 20 population for the fewest lakes. Or you might become the public official, in which case you'll get plus 15 population for the most contiguous civic tiles that you've got. Right, so these are very, very lucrative if you can get the right ones, and they do have a habit of swapping out the leader at the end of the game. So if you don't fancy placing a tile on the board, you can place one of your investment markers on the board, and this will basically activate the tile again, and then it will grant you a double bonus every time that tile is affected. So once you've done that choice, you'll take the amount of money out of the bank, dependent on where your income cylinder is on your player board, and then you'll adjust the population based on your reputation. You might have to pay a coster, you might have to pay some money, or you might have to pay in population if your reputation is in tatters, which sounds a bit like my life, right? And then you'll adjust the real estate market by sliding everything down to fill up the empty spots, and you'll take a tile from the supplier and you'll dump it in the furthest left spot. So you've also got to be mindful of the red lines when you're pushing your points up the board. When you cross a red line, you will lose both 1 income and you'll lose both 1 reputation, because your city has grown too quick and you basically haven't got the resources to keep paying all them benefits out to all the slops, have you? So the game will end once the 1 more round token is flipped. Everyone will have 1 more go, right? And then you'll do a bit of final scoring. You'll check to see who fulfilled any of the goals. You'll add your points up, and then you'll get 1 point for every $5 million that you still have in the bank. And the player with the most points will be the winner of Suburbia. So what do we like about Suburbia? So the first thing that we really like about it is the red line penalty really does make a little bit of sense, doesn't it? It sort of limits people from just going out too quickly, and you're always mindful about that little dig in your arm when you cross over that line, right? That's basically a way of stopping everyone from just bolting out the gate as quickly as possible, and it does sort of pay to sort of hold back a little bit, build out your city, and then cross the red line later on. So the second thing that we really like about Suburbia is that the gold tiles are not only very rich and varied, but like we said before, they do tend to alter the final scoring in quite radical ways. It's really quite exciting waiting to see if your opponents have fulfilled the public goals and whether or not you've done enough to beat them in that regard. But then you've also got your private goal that might let you pull the cat out of the bag when it really matters. So yeah, we do like the fact that there are loads and loads of gold tiles to choose from, and also that it does give you a bit of hidden in-game scoring that we really like in games like Carcassonne with the farmers. That sort of thing is present in this one. Love it. So the next thing that we really like about this game is that some of the tiles that you're going to be placing in your city directly affect your opponent's ability to gain or lose income, right? And if this wasn't in the game, then this would be just one of them mind-numbingly depressing multiplayer solitaire games, right? But the fact that you've got that little bit of player interaction there, not much, but it is there, does sort of pull this game out of the abyss. So the final thing that we really like about this one is that the income and reputation rewards do seem to be quite well balanced. If you're going all out trying to get your income up, then more often than not your reputation is going to suffer, and vice versa. If you're going full reputation, you're not really going to be able to get your income up to where you need to be. So it does pay you to find a balance, if you possibly can, with the random tile draw and all that sort of thing. But it really does pay you to find a balance between, are you going to be a greedy capitalist, or are you going to be a caring, sharing community warden? So what don't we like about Suburbia? So the first thing, and the elephant in the room here, is that this game looks complete and utter crap. It looks bloody terrible, doesn't it? It's washed out. It looks like it's stepped out of RoboCop's codpiece, doesn't it? It's horrible. The theme is sadly lacking in this one. There's nothing on the tiles that anchor the theme down, and the choice of these horrible yellows, greens, greys, and that horrible bluish steel type thing is vile. There's just nothing in this game that really makes me think, oh, that looks really nice, because it don't. It looks like shit. So the second thing that we don't like about Suburbia is that the tiles do seem to be a little bit uninspiring right? I mean, you've got an airport, you've got all these anonymous business tiles that you've got to deal with. You've got a couple of restaurants in there, but I really can't sort of think off the top of my head about any of the tiles being that interesting that I can actually think of what they are. I know there's like an old folks home in here that gives you some population or anything, but this game lacks those moments to tell stories. It would have been nice had there been some sort of thematic link on the tiles that could prompt you into making up a few stories. And played this bloody billions of times, but we've never really been able to sort of connect with what's going on in the city. And I think that sort of lack of human aspect is a problem in quite a few games. I think in our review of Dinosaur Island, we did say there's no real human connection with what's going on the board, made the game suffer. That is readily apparent with Suburbia, and that is a real shame. So the next thing that we don't like about Suburbia is that the lakes seem to be just a bolt-on to try and mitigate that incessant feeling of there's nothing I can do. I can't afford to buy anything in the real estate market. I might be able to afford a community park, but if I place it anywhere, I'm going to get absolutely mullered. It seems to me that when this game was designed, it was like, oh shit, we've got like a problem here. There's going to be a period in the game where you ain't going to have enough money. Your income's taking a battering, your reputation's taking a battering. We better put something in there that basically, for no good reason, gives you money. And lakes do seem to be a bit of a get-out clause for that, right? So the final thing that we don't like about Suburbia is that whilst this was quite innovative and new at the time, but the slide down and refill mechanism on the real estate market is really starting to feel a little bit tired, right? I mean, when we first played this many moons ago, it was quite an interesting mechanism because you knew that over time things might get a little bit cheaper, not guaranteed like other games, and you knew that the tile that was going to come out was always going to be more expensive. But now this has been copied 100 billion times. We've seen it in so many other games, and the shine of that innovation has definitely wore thin. So to summarise, is Suburbia still worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say probably not. It is a truly ugly tile laying game that relies on a complex web of triggers to sort of remain relevant, and I don't think it succeeds. The mechanisms in this game have been copied more times than I've had odd dinners, and as a result, playing this feels like you're staring at 1970s wallpaper in a modern new build house. Add to the fact that the 2 expansions turn this into a complete dog's dinner, and Suburbia feels like you're wandering through one of them soulless housing estates trying to find the meaning to your sad, pathetic existence, right? So there's plenty of better games that you could play. I mean, I haven't played every single city building game, but think about Quadropolis. That does seem to have just that little bit more thematic link and a little bit more interesting choices rather than just picking a tile and chucking it down. There's Seven Wonders, which strictly isn't a city building game, but it's more a civilization building game. But that is very quick, half an hour's play, and it does play out to 7, and it really does condense down that feeling of creating a city civilization type thing. It's fantastic. And if you're looking for something that is a simple affair, then Carcassonne. I mean, that's laying tiles, building a city, and it's also got that hidden scoring thing at the end, which we love so dearly with the farmers mechanism, right? So sadly, we can't recommend Suburbia in this day and age. So basically, we're going to use it as really uncomfortable toilet paper. So there you go. That's Suburbia. Remember, if you're new it, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. We'll see you next time.